clients. I hope you all healthy and doing well and staying home. Anyway, today I'm gonna show you how I make my chicken marsala. I do make a lot of this dish. It's a favorite, not only in my household, but some of the clients that I have worked for, they love this recipe. So, and it's very easy and it can feed a crowd, and I'm gonna show you how I make it. Okay, let me show you what the ingredients I have. I have chicken breast that I pounded with a mallet until it just kind of flat a little bit. And here I have 2 cups. I'm using gluten-free flour because some of the customers that I have, they're gluten intolerant, so I'm using gluten-free flour. 2 cups of gluten-free flour and 1/2 cup of cornstarch, also gluten-free. I have some parsley, some salt. In here I have garlic powder, thyme, oregano, and I'm gonna mix this with my flour. Mix this, and then also my 2 teaspoons of salt. And we're gonna dredge this chicken and then fry in a pan, but it's not deep fried. It's just a little bit of olive oil. I already have a little bit here, but I'm gonna put, I'd say, maybe 1/2 cup of olive oil. You want to put it so your chicken can fry. So mix all this ingredients good. So also have, this is a 24 ounce, because I'm making a lot of chicken, a 24 ounces of portobello, mini portobello mushrooms right here. I have 2 cans of chicken stock, and I have the Marsala wine. That's why it's called, you gotta have this Marsala wine, and some butter for at the end to flavor the sauce. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dredge this meat in this flour and then just put it aside. And what I did in the chicken, I put a little bit of salt and pepper, and that was it. I just put a little bit on top, and that's all you need to do, because it will flavor with the sauce. So I put buy the chicken breasts, and they're so thick that I slice them in half. So you slice them in half, and then you pound them. I put them inside of a large ziploc bag, and then I pounded with a mallet, and then to the thickness that I want, and then put pepper and salt and pepper, and that's it. So anyway, so I do all this. I dredge all the chicken, and then I just sear in my skillet. I don't cook it all the way because I'm gonna put this chicken back in the oven with the sauce to keep it warm. So I don't cook it all the way through the chicken, because then it will be too dry. So I'm gonna make sure this, and I put my foil so I don't have a big mess to clean later. I do this, I usually make this early in the day, and then I keep it in the fridge. In the oven. Oh my goodness. So anyway, so I'm gonna fry until they're golden brown on both sides, and then I'm gonna put it to a tray to drain some of the oil, and then I'll do the sauce. So here we go. I'm in my last chicken, and you want it all golden brown. And this is my last 2 pieces, and I was adding more oil as it needed. So if it needs oil, you wanted at least enough oil for the chicken to start browning. I'm gonna add a half a cube of butter, and I'm gonna start sauteing my mushrooms in the same pan. There was not very much oil in it, but if it does, you can remove some of the oil, but there was very little oil on the frying pan. So now we're gonna saute these mushrooms, and don't be alarmed, they will shrink. I'm gonna put a little bit of, about a half a teaspoon of salt, so they start drawing that salt away from the mushrooms. And I'm gonna chop my garlic for my sauce. So I made these with gluten-free flour because one of my customers is gluten-free. But you don't have to. You can use all-purpose flour, or also you can use all-purpose flour and panko bread. It'll kind of give you a more of a crunch if you look for that little crunch in the chicken. But I just used cornstarch and gluten-free flour. It doesn't matter what kind of flour, whatever flour you use, doesn't matter the brand. So anyway, so now I'm gonna saute my mushrooms, and then I'm gonna start building my sauce. This is my customers, they love this. They love this meal, because you don't see this kind of meal very often. So anyway, I'm gonna saute my mushrooms, and then when they're ready, I'll come back and show you how to build the sauce. Okay, my mushrooms already went down, and they looking good. So now I'm gonna add my garlic. I have a tablespoon chopped garlic. Add your garlic. You want to add your garlic later if you don't want it to burn. And this is something you can do ahead of time, and tomorrow will taste even better. You can put the sauce over if you want. You can leave the sauce aside and people can serve themselves. You can serve this with noodles, egg noodles, which is what I'm going to do today, or mashed potatoes, steamed rice. There's many ways you can serve. So now I'm going to add my 2 cups of chicken stock. I'm going to add it as slow, because I want to add some of my wine too. And I'm going to add about a half a cup of, this is the Marsala wine. You don't want to add too much because it's a very strong wine. I'm going to add my burner, turn it high a little bit so it can start simmer and cook some of that wine. I do this recipe at least once a month. Like I said, my customers, they love it. It's an easy recipe, and if you don't care for the chicken breast, you can use the chicken thighs, boneless chicken thighs. It does the same thing, but this is a classic chicken Marsala. This one I'm not going to put no cream, but sometimes I do add cream, but I don't have cream. I used all yesterday, so I wasn't going to go to the store just get it. So I'm just going to leave it without the cream. I love recipes like this, that you can make it and feed a crowd. I'm going to add the rest of my chicken stock. So that's 2 cups. 2 cups of chicken stock. and half a cup of chicken marsala. I'm gonna add another half a teaspoon of kosher salt. Okay, I use kosher salt. If you're using the table salt, is a lot less. It gets too salty if you use the table salt, which is the fine salt. This is a flake, more of a flaky salt. That's what I use. So, depending what you use at home. And I'm gonna add a little bit more butter to finish up my sauce, and then add my my parsley. Okay, my sauce is simmering, and I'm gonna add all my parsley. There's about half a cup of parsley, finely chopped parsley. That's parsley from my garden. Finally, I get it parsley. See, it took forever to get anything. And I'm gonna add another 2 tablespoons of butter to finish that sauce. And what it does, it kind of gives a sheen to the sauce, so it kind of finishes. If you find that the sauce is kind of runny, which I probably do to this one, because I use gluten-free flour. Sometimes I don't have to, but because I use gluten-free flour, I'm gonna do a slur, which is water and cornstarch. Okay, friends, I add 1 tablespoon of cornstarch with 2 tablespoons of water. And you want cold water to dissolve all that cornstarch. And I'm just gonna put in my sauce, pour it in. And what it does is gonna thicken that sauce. It's gonna thicken it up a little bit, so it won't be so runny. And this is the reason for this, is because I use gluten-free flour, and so it didn't stay. And it will thicken more as you put it in your on top of your chicken, because it will thicken with the flour that's in the sauce. I mean, on the chicken. The sauce will thicken. Let me try for salt. See if it needs anything else. You can use a little bit more salt. Another half a teaspoon. As they say, it's better to put less at the beginning, because you can't take it away. Let me show you my sauce. This is my Marsala sauce. Looks divine. So now I'm gonna pour over my chicken. Here it is, my friends, my chicken Marsala. It looks divine. Now I'm gonna cook some egg noodles and then serve with this, and it will be a delicious meal. I will keep this covered in a oven at low, the lowest setting, and I'm ready for dinner. So anyway, I hope you make this recipe. I hope it's easy for you to follow, and it's a delicious meal. It's different, but it's delicious. So let's get cooking. Till next time, have a good day.